Hello. Hello. So I'm going to just get started. Welcome to Bruised but Not Broken. Hope everyone has had a wonderful weekend, keeping safe, staying in. Um, so today's topic is the three ways that the ego treats the present moment. So the three ways that the ego treats the present moment it is um, as a means to an end, as an obstacle, and as an enemy. So I want to go into detail for each one um, about how it affects us and how we think that the present moment is based on our ego. Okay, so the first one is how the ego treats the present moment as a means to an end. Okay, and it goes on and it tells us that it gets us to a future moment that we consider is more important, that we consider that is very important. But when we look at the future moment, it's the future never comes except through the present moment. So when we look at things as a means to an end, we're kind of thinking in our head that this is right now the most important thing that I have to take care of. This is the means to an end. I got to do this to get these results. So in other words, let's say using it in as a definition form. Let's use the means as an instrument and we'll use the end as results. So I wrote it down. So y'all know I got to write my notes. It says that means is defined as an instrument to accomplish some end. End is defined as a result of using the means. Okay. So if we put those together, we could say that an instrument means to obtain some results, which is the end. So we're using something that we think is more important to get to the end results. But for the present moment takes place right then and there. So a means to an end really don't exist because you're still in that present moment. Okay. So it says when we think about a means to an end, it's talking about a thought in our head. We're thinking that, okay, if I do it this way, I'll get this results. Okay. Say you're in a hurry to get an assignment finished and you say, okay, well, if I do it this way, then I'll get this results. And you may rush. You may rush to do it. But when you look at it as a present moment, what happens in that present moment is exactly what is happening. It's not a means to an end, it's the present moment that you're working in. Okay. So when we're looking at a means to an end as with the ego, then we're basically just saying we basically should be saying that we look at it in our present moment. And in our present moment, things are going to fall into place as they should. There's no means to an end. It's only the present moment. The other way that we look at the ego with the present moment is obstacles. The obstacles, it says, when these patterns become pronounced and they're very common, the present moment is regarded and treated as an obstacle to overcome. Something that we feel like we have to overcome. It becomes stressful. It becomes frustrate. We get frustration out of it. It makes us impatient because we're looking at it as an obstacle. And it says their norm is the normal state for most people. It say which is now is seen as a problem. Now you've made it because you've turned it into an obstacle. Now it seems as a problem. It causes you to react as if it's a problem because anyone knows that when you speak of an obstacle, the first thing you think about is stress. Is prevention because we feel like it's a hurdle that we have to get to. We have to get to that result. We have to get to that means to an end. But when we look at it as a present moment, It's all in the present moment. Nothing can happen with you doing it as a, nothing will change it as if you're doing it as a means to an end, or if you're looking at it as an obstacle. It still can only be done in the present moment. And it says, for this, that's a problem. And the problem is that for every problem that is solved, there's another problem that occurs. Something else. It will always be something else that you feel is more important that you have to take care of. It will always be an obstacle that you feel like you have to get over, you have to conquer. Uh, but when you start to sit back, relax, and understand that it's in this present moment, I can do this and I can get this, the end results that I'm wanting. But it's not looking at it as a means to an end, it's just looking at it in our present moment. Okay. Then the next one is we can look at our present moment as an enemy. Our present moment can be an enemy because we have obstacles to come. So then we have means to an end. Then the enemy is like, I'll be whatever you want me to be. I'll do whatever you want me to do. This is what life tells us. If you treat me like you want to go to war, then life will give you war. If you treat me like I'm an obstacle, then life will give you obstacles. So, in other words, it say, I will be a problem to you if you treat me as an obstacle. I will be that obstacle to you. In other words, it's talking about being relaxed, being in your present moment, not stressing, not thinking that you have to do a means to an end, because it's all going to be done in that present moment. So stating a means to an end doesn't change anything. It's still going to be done in the present moment. Okay. And it says, since the present moment is all you ever have, since life is inseparable from the now, what the question really is what is my relationship to life? So it's asking, what is your relationship to life? Are you treating life as an obstacle? Are you treating life as an enemy? Or are you treating life as a means to an end? Either way, all three of those are based on your present moment. You can look at it as an obstacle, and then life will give you obstacles. You can look at it as an enemy, then life will give you, it will be an enemy towards you, because what it talks about is being in the present moment, not stressing, not worrying, not losing your peace over something that you have no control over. So when the ego looks at the present moment, it looks at it with determination. It looks at it as a means to an end. It looks at it as an obstacle. It looks at it as an enemy. But that's your ego. And remember, your conscious mind wants to help you to defeat your ego. And in a way to do that, the ego goes against the present moment. It think it's not present, but the present moment is all you have. So if the present moment is all you have, then what you're creating is frustration. You're creating stress. You're creating impatience because you want things to have that means to an end. You want things to be done right away. You feel like it has to be done right away, or you're rushing yourself, in other words, because even if you look at it as a means to an end, it's still, you only have that present moment. It doesn't change it. If you make an obstacle, it just makes it more difficult. If you make it an enemy, it makes it more difficult. If you make it to where it's a means to an end, you make it more difficult for you, because in that moment, your mind, your ego is saying, this is my means to an end. But you only have that present moment. So whatever we create thinking that it's going to change, it's never going to change, because it's that present moment. Your ego can't change the present moment. It can think that it can by creating obstacles or feeling like I have to do this to get this. Um, but you only have that present moment. Okay. I say the question is an excellent way of unmasking the ego. So when you ask yourself, what is your relationship with life? This question unmasks your ego because you can only live in your present moment. You can't live for tomorrow because tomorrow's not here yet. We can't even live for 5 minutes from now because right now in this present moment is all we have, this very present moment. So creating obstacles and creating enemy out of life is just making your life more difficult, making it more stressful. As I said earlier, it say although the question doesn't embody the absolute truth, ultimately I the present moment are one. I in the present moment are one. We are all we have, that present moment. Me right now is my right here, sitting right here is my present moment. There's no means to an end. I'm in this moment right now. And what I do in this moment, I have to make it count. Me coming on here, I have to make it count in this present moment. I can't look at it as a means to an end because it's not a means to an end. I can only live for the present moment. I can only live for what I'm in right now at this very time, right? So it goes on and say, ask yourself this often. What is your relationship with life? Do you feel like you have to create obstacles? Do you feel like everything is a means to an end? Because what you put out, again, and I say this in every video, I think what you put out is what you get back. If you put out like you have to live as a means to an end, you're really not living that way. You only can live for that present moment. Now, what you do in that present moment will always count. But the ego wants to put it as if, no, this is a means to an end. No, all you have is the present moment. Anything before that, you don't have. Anything after that, you don't have. You just have this moment, and how you create your moment is how your life will give you. If you create war, your life will be in war, it'll be in chaos, it'll be in drama. If you create peace, your life will have peace because in that present moment is the only thing that we can focus on. We can't focus on how I'm going to get there. If I do the work, I'll get there. But I can't focus on making it a means to an end because then if I do that, then I'm working out of my ego and I'm not working in the present moment. They say, how do you go beyond a dysfunctional relationship with the present moment? It says the most important thing is to see in yourself, in your thoughts, in your actions. Look at yourself. Look at the way you are. Look at your thoughts and look at your actions because those are the things that will describe your present moment. Those are the things that will tell you if you're living out of ego. Those are the things that will tell you if you're living out of your subconscious mind. Because if you take ego and unmask it and just live for this moment only, then the ego eventually goes away because we're not focused on what we can gain. We're not focused on uh, how my end result will be because again, we can't control it. We can't control how we can't control what we do in this world, meaning we have no control over time, we have no control over people, and we have no control over the outcome of the situation. So all we have is our present moment, and anything other than that puts us into ego. Okay, it's a in the moment of seeing and noticing that your relationship with the now is dysfunctional. You are present when you notice that you can only look at what's going on right now at this very moment. If you're only paying attention to what's happening right now, then you defeat the ego and you live in the present and you live in the now. The now is what's going on right now in my present moment. not trying to find a means to an end, not creating obstacles, and not creating the enemy with your life. It's a the seeing is the arising of the present. The moment you see the dysfunction, it begins to dissolve. Like I say, once you realize that all I have is this present moment, I can't change anything. I can't change 5 minutes from now. I can't change. I I have nothing but where I am right now in this present moment. And in this present moment is I can only do what I can do in this present moment. And what I can do will not have me to focus on a means to an end. It'll have me to focus on what I can do right now. Okay. And it says, and this kind of me because I do this often. It says some people laugh out loud when they see an obstacle. I do that. I do that. I laugh when I feel like, okay, yeah, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Then I tend to laugh about it. But that's my way of trying to control the situation. That's a way in which I try to control it. It's a with seeing comes the power of choice. The power of choice is I can't change anything. I can't there's no such thing as a means to an end if you're living in the present. Because all you have is the present. All you have is your present moment. There's no obstacles if you're living in the present, because when you're looking at it as an obstacle, then you're looking at it like it's a conflict, it's a problem, it's an issue. But if you're looking at it as a present moment, then you're looking at it as I can only do this. I can't do anything but this at this moment, and at this time this is all I can do. Right? It's a the choice of saying yes to the now, of making it into a friend. So you say yes to what you can do right now in the present moment. You don't focus on the obstacles. You don't focus in the future, because again, the ego sees the present moment as a means to an end. And what that means is that we see a future moment that we consider very important, but when we really look at it, it's not a future moment. All we have is right here, right now, in this present moment. Okay? It's a on the surface, the present moment is what happens. It's what happens, it's what you do in that present moment. It doesn't change it, it doesn't affect it. If you look at it through your ego and think it's a means to an end, it's still that present moment that you're working out of. And it says, since what happened changes continuously, it seems that every day of your life consists of thousands of moments which different things always happen. Obstacles will occur. Things will happen. We're always changing. We're always evolving. We're always going through something. But what the conscious mind is trying to get you to pay attention to is don't focus on things that you have no control over. Focus only on that present moment, because at that present moment, that's the only thing you have control over. You don't have, like I said, you don't have control over anything else. You just can handle that present moment. And it says, and sometimes those present moments can be good and sometimes they can be bad. But it's all in the way that we look at things. It's all in the way that we allow our subconscious and our ego to have us to look at it. If we look at it with our conscious mind, then of course it's going to work out for our betterment. It'll work out to where we're not stressing. It'll work out where we're not frustrated, where we're not being impatient, because we're looking at it with our conscious mind saying, right now is all I have. So right now, what I can do in this present moment, I'll do. But to look at it as a means to an end, no, it's not a means to an end. To look at it as an obstacle, no, it's not an obstacle, because you're right here in this moment. Okay. And it says, also, it says you look more closely, that is said through your own immediate experience. You find that there is not many moments at all. It says you discover that there is only ever this moment. Life is always in the now, right now, right now. We look at right now. What can I do right now? What can I focus on right now? I don't know why my light just went out. Let me see.